In our experience, right, again, helping over 10,000 veterans in the last 4 years get the rating and compensation that they deserve, the two things that come up the most, and I think these are really important things, and we are trying to change the military culture, right? The folks who are wearing active duty, who are wearing the uniform on active duty. The first reason is it's the lies we tell ourselves. Veterans actually come to us and say, the reason I didn't apply for benefits or the reason I didn't go for an increase was because I told myself that I didn't deserve it. And to me, I know that feeling. Sometimes as a disabled vet, you can kind of go, I'm not missing a limb, I wasn't in combat, or I don't have a mental health condition. Another veteran has it worse than I do, so I don't want to pursue benefits because they need it more than I do, right? We think of benefits in terms of, if I get something, somebody else loses. Your disability benefits are mutually exclusive of any other disabled veteran's benefits. If you get benefits, that's for you and your family that you do deserve by law. I shatter that myth, and I help veterans understand, and inside of our community, that you served, you deserve. Okay? Now, not everybody's going to be 100% disabled. You might be 0% disabled. You might be 20, you might be 50, you might be 70. Okay? But the bottom line is, you deserve veterans benefits, which, by the way, before I go to the second one, we're getting ready to launch a new book, and it's called You Deserve It, the definitive guide to getting the veterans benefits you deserve, okay, and that you've earned. Super excited about this. We've been working on the book now for well over a year. We're hoping to launch in Q1 of 2021, but it's going to be absolutely epic, and you're going to be some of the first men and women to find out. So shatter that notion that you don't deserve benefits, because you do. Okay, you served, you deserve. That's the number one issue. The second thing is the military culture. We just didn't go to the doctor. When you're wearing the uniform, and this is something that I really struggled with in the Air Force's core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, I tended to look at that second core value of service before self, meaning service at the expense of self. And that's not what that core value means, okay? If you can't take care of yourself, you're no good to anybody else. You're no good to the mission. You're no good to your family. You're no good as a father, as a wife, as a friend. And so one of the things we teach inside of our program all the time is get help. You can't be the best version of you until you fix you, until you get help. What we really help veterans understand is, look, you probably didn't go to the doctor enough while you were on active duty. Okay, nobody did. Nobody goes in complaining about their aches and pains. Nobody wants to be on a profile, so they miss formation, you miss PT, you miss a deployment. Nobody wants to be that guy or gal. Well, then what happens is it's the ultimate catch-22. We leave active duty, we're kind of kicked out the door, and the huge bureaucratic machine goes on without you, and all of a sudden you start hearing about this thing called the Department of Veterans Affairs. And you start getting stuff together, and you realize, oh, I need my active service records, and you file your claim, and it either comes back denied or significantly less than you thought, and that's really your reality check into, oh no, I don't think I had enough medical evidence to properly explain in Service Connect my mental health condition. I never went in to get seen for my migraines. I never had a sleep study for obstructive sleep apnea while I was on active duty, right? You might not have even known what sleep apnea was. I didn't know what sleep apnea was until I left the military. It's this mentality of service at the expense of self on active duty. And when you leave, you don't have the medical evidence that you need to prove the requirements under 38 CFR Part 4. Okay, and again, that's really where the medical evidence piece comes in. Okay, so again, what are you going to get with VA Claims Insider? You get a coach who's trained and certified in my process They're experts in this process. They're going to help you cook up a strategy that's tailored to you. You partner that with the education and the access to reduced rates on independent medical providers for independent medical opinions. Okay? It's a winning combination. And what is the result? You win your VA disability claim, you get the higher rating, which is the rating you deserve by law, and all of that happens in less time. That's it. The published statistics on mental health conditions, I think they're way off. I think they're not even close. And I would go so far as to say that I think almost every veteran we meet is dealing with some type of a mental health condition. It may or may not be post-traumatic stress disorder. It might be depression. It might be anxiety. It might be a mental health condition that's resulted from your physical disabilities and how that's affected your life and your relationships and your work. Literally, I can speak to this, that as a disabled veteran with a mental health condition, I think every veteran needs to go in, make that call to the VA, and start treatment, talk to somebody, okay? Even if you don't have a formal diagnosis, it's going to help you work through some of the challenges that you may be dealing with in your life and some of those frustrations. And so, again, I say this all the time. I was just like you. I was scared and embarrassed to talk about my mental health condition. I felt like as a man, as an officer, it showed weakness, and that vulnerability made me less than. And I'm here to tell you right now that was ultimately one of the biggest breakthroughs I've ever made in my life, is the realization that it's not that you're weak, it's not that you're broken, it's actually that you're strong. The fact that you're willing to admit to yourself and your family, finally, after how many years, that maybe I'm not okay. Maybe I need to talk to somebody about this and get an outside perspective to help me get better. For anybody hearing my voice right now, please pick up the phone. You can go to Google right now and type VA mental health facility near me. Pick up the phone and call that clinic and make an appointment. Go talk to a social worker. Go talk to a counselor. We need you here. Your life matters. We've seen the statistics of 22 a day committing suicide. That right there is something that I'm extremely passionate about, and so is our team, is ending the suicide epidemic among the active duty and the veteran corps. Okay, so I think a lot of that suicide epidemic comes from the undiagnosed mental health condition and the untreated mental health conditions that we suffer from. And so, again, I'm encouraging you all, whether you work with us or not, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is your health, your safety, your family, your life, okay? Your life matters. You were here for a reason, and I want you to pick up the phone and make that call. It shows a sign of strength, and I think you're going to be happy that you make that call.